What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Gloss Garage, where we make detailing simple. My name is Doc, and today I have something special for you all. So I am recording this intro again because I thought I was recording and I wasn't. So we will be reviewing the Incredible Suds Type 2, or what I like to say, version 2. And as you see, it has a much purple hue in terms of the bottle, and it's much less viscous. So you can see it just runs down effortlessly, and that is compared to their Incredible Suds version 1, which has a lighter purple hue for the label, and it sticks like molasses. As you see there, it is still all sticking in there, very gooey. And yeah, that is what we'll be reviewing today. This will be the main premise of the review. Now, all the products here you can purchase at the House of Rags. Just use code DMS at checkout for 10% off. It helps me as a creator. It doesn't cost anything to you. Now, quick disclaimer, this is a sponsored video because I do work for Thor. I host a podcast for them every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They do not pay me to make a positive or negative review on any products. My relationship with Thor is just to make the podcast or a how-to video. That is pretty much it. And all the products here I've also purchased with my own money, except for the Incredible Suds. Everything else I did purchase on my own, which I have the receipt here. We'll be talking about the Baby Goat as well, and some products that are not featured on the House of Rags, like Tim's High Gloss Detailer, which I will be using here as well. So yes, let's get started with the premise. So first off is my reasoning on the Type 1 and what were my thoughts for the Type 1. So pretty much the Type 1 is just much thicker. My main concern is when I wanted to use it in foam cannon, it was very annoying to mix up. Even if you had the weighted ball, you really had to stir it up. So Cars with Keeve actually came out with an amazing way to do this, where he would have distilled water and he would dilute it in a 1 to 32 dilution in a gallon, and then that will last you a couple months. So that way it will pretty much just be ready to use. Just pour it inside your foam cannon. No need to mix up, because mixing up Incredible Suds was very, very annoying to do. And that is pretty much it. Now, it is a pH balance or a little bit alkaline type of soap. It's not, how do I say, it's not crazy cleaning. That is my experience of it. But it does an amazing job if you're doing it as a weekly wash or weekly routine wash as well. Now, what did DIY help improve on Incredible Suds? Well, pretty much they said they took out, correct me if I'm wrong, I think I'm gonna mix this up here, but from what they said is they took out one of the surfactants and added 2 other surfactants for better cleaning capabilities without altering in terms of its foam and properties of what we all love. Now, in terms of the smell, it still smells like their regular Incredible Suds, and that is pretty much it. So I will talk to you my impressions whether at the end of the video if you need to go buy this if you have their version 1, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So demonstration here, we are going to I have about 700 mils of water, which is like 18 ounces of water, and I am going to put probably half an ounce in here, because typically it's for 32 ounces of water you want 1 capful. So here, or 2 capfuls, which is a whole ounce. So what I'm going to do here is just put half an ounce instead, fill it up here, and look how easy it just comes out. Very easy, very simple, and that's it. So is it runny like pans? No, it's not, thin like pans or even Phoenix EOD's Apex soap. Now let's see how it mixes. So here we are looking at the bottom. So it is inside my foam cannon. Put the quiver, and as I said before, I just flipped it over once, and that is pretty much what's left. Nothing much to it really. That is it. So within a couple seconds it is already completely mixed. So that is the plus side from what obviously my initial impressions is. And yeah, so that is what I got. Second thing we'll be reviewing is their incredible wash mitt. So you all know I love the Auto Fiber chenille wash mitts. This is my favorite. It's cuffless. So with this, I always, you know, put the cuffs in. And also, if we get up close, it does have like a little bit of a chenille texture in here. So this is gonna be my first time ever using it with, of course, it's blended with some microfibers as well. So let's see how this works. It does feel nice and soft, and I'm pretty sure once you dunk it inside the soap, it'll feel much softer. So without further ado, let's get started. And yeah, so I'll start off with the wheels, and we'll see how the C6 Diamond is performing after. This will be an official 90-day update. So let's get started. All right, so I forgot to mention in the intro as well, just because I did make the intro a little bit longer than I really wanted to, is I do have incredible suds in here with 1/2 ounce of all clean. That way I can get a little bit of more cleaning power. Now my wheels are coated, and I don't really need to go aggressive, use an aggressive cleaner at all. The only thing I really want to get off is the browning on the tires. So here I'm using ADS tire cleaner, diluted 1:3, which is my favorite dilution, and I am ready to start. So the wheels are cool to the touch, and I'm just going to spray away. I'm going to spray the rubber first, and then from here, I already have this pumped up. Probably clean as well around the tire in itself. Now, what are my impressions in terms of the foam? Obviously, foams up real nice. I put 1/2 ounce as well. You're not gonna get crazy, you know, browning off the tires and stuff. I just did it enough because, again, the wheels are coated. I don't need anything aggressive every single time I'm gonna clean the wheels. The ceramic coating will pretty much do its job on its own. The only thing I really need a deep cleaner is really for the tires, that, of course, it just embeds itself in there. I'm not gonna lie, my downside is I don't like, or I'm not gonna say I don't like, it's just the rims. It's just a lot of work to clean with these rims. It's just all these spokes. But with the coating, it's gonna take care of it. And ADS tire cleaner, to me, is the best tire cleaner on the market, especially at its price point and how dilutable it is. Until I find a better one, then that is pretty much it. And you can see the browning coming off the tires right there. I cleaned the spokes, and we are all done. Last time my car got washed was probably a little over 3 weeks ago. So, yep, here we go. Rinse off time. Let's see if the beading is still there on the rims. And as you see right there, still plenty of tiny little round beads. Now, which coating did I apply on here? For if this is your first time tuning in, I apply Labos Cosméticas HPC 2.0 coating on the wheels. No, it is not designated for a wheel coating, but I just applied it because you can apply that coating anywhere. So it's a jack of all trades, master of none, and it's still performing well after 90 days and over 2,000 miles on the vehicle. And I got this vehicle when I only had about like 30 miles on it. So 2,000 miles, still performing extremely well. So here I'm just gonna foam on Incredible Suds. As you saw, it was half an ounce to 32 ounces of water, and we're gonna see the foaming capabilities on here, and of course the cleaning capabilities. What we're gonna do is just a foam rinse foam method, pretty much what DIY detail shows, and let's get started. And remember, my car is coated with the C6 diamond. And this is pretty much what I have left. So this will be good enough to foam again and then reinstall. Yeah, to pretty much foam again to do our contact wash. Put a little bit there. The C6 is rejecting the soap. It is still a fresh coating, but for it to be, 90 days in, haven't been washed in 3 weeks, it is doing a great job. Now, what I like to do personally is I like to clean the grills. And I'll just grab, say, the same flag tip nylon brush that I use for the wheels, and just rub it in just on the grills, just so this way we could clean any blood splatter or anything that was in there. And that is pretty much it. So that is that. Put this over to the side and just let it dwell. So I'm gonna rinse off and foam on again. All right, time to fast forward the second foam before we do the contact wash. Okay. Yeah. All right, so it's time for the contact wash, and let me see if there's really any sort of major difference in terms of slickness or something with Incredible Suds. So here I'm using their wash mitt, and we're gonna see if there's any. Okay, in terms of slickness, definitely much slicker than what they had originally. Yeah, definitely much slicker. It may be the wash media, I'm not too sure, but the soap is just right away, instant, just feels ultra slick under the mitt. So what I'm gonna do is grab my auto fiber one and see how that one feels, because the slickness is okay. So one thing I could tell you for sure is they definitely improved the slickness, but with their wash media in itself, and let me bring you in close since this is a lighter color, you can see I'm picking up pretty much zero dirt and grime from the actual vehicle. So it did do a great job, but based on their wash media, definitely their wash media makes the soap much slicker based on the fibers, the way it's built. Because when I use the chenille wash mitt, it's not crazy slick, but it is definitely slicker than what I've used before with with their stuff, and I'll bring you in close as well so you can see I went to the lowers and no dirt whatsoever. So my impressions, it's a very nice soap. Do you need to go and buy it right away? I would say you could stick with your regular Incredible Suds. It's still going to do the job. This Incredible Suds Type 2, yes, it feels slicker. Yes, it does clean a bit better, but it's not going to make or break the decision of it having you buy it right away. Because once you encounter a super dirty vehicle, guess what? You are going to need a alkaline type of soap, which they recommend adding all clean, or what I like to use is Labos Primus. So this is something that's definitely going to make your weekly maintenance washes much easier. But yeah, that is what I got. So I will see you all on the outro once I am drying the vehicle. All right, as you see here, super tight beads, no impact whatsoever yet on the coating. And even on the glass, I have Labos HPC 2.0. And yeah, so time for the drying. So this is the Baby Goats. These are their V2s. And first, we're gonna see how it dries just regular. Now, typically what I like to do on any coated vehicle is I like to use my little handheld blower that I have right here. And I like to blow everything away and then use as a drying aid, because let's be real, the less amount of water that you have and the better your detail spray is going to work. It's just common sense in that nature. But if you don't have a blower, then guess what? This is how you're going to have to go. And yeah, so this is just a demo. I like to spray a bunch of Tim's High Gloss Detailer. It's super easy to wipe off. So I'll show you right here. You just drag once with the Baby Goat, and that is it. It is completely dry, nothing whatsoever. Now, why am I using Tim's High Gloss Detailer? Well, pretty much it leaves zero protection whatsoever. It's just a detail spray. That is it. Nothing to it, and I don't want to hinder the performance of the C6 Diamond gloss. The reason why I don't wanted to hinder with it is because I want to see its true longevity. I'm not adding any toppers on here. I'm not adding anything of that nature whatsoever, because this is a real world test. So same thing here, Baby Goat. And one quick tip about the Baby Goats, if you haven't seen my video with the Corvette that I did on the House of Rags video on deconning, you want to use your first Baby Goat as pretty much your squeegee towel. And then your second one will be your final buff, and that is it. As you can see here, I'm not using any pressure. I'm just dragging the towel across and leaving a perfect glossy finish. So all Tim's High Gloss Detailer does is give it a glossy appearance. It's a detail spray. That's what you want, to enhance the gloss for a little bit. So yeah, I'll work away around. All right, everyone, so hopefully you all enjoyed this video. Now let's talk about the Type 2 or version 2 of Incredible Suds. Now, what are my final thoughts on it? Well, it definitely does feel a bit slicker on the mitt on itself. Definitely noticeably slicker using their wash media, but it did feel slicker than comparison when I used to use an auto fiber with their Incredible Suds. It does rinses off a lot easier. And in terms of cleaning power, if you're using this, like say once every 2 to 3 weeks, like I did on my vehicle, it's a daily driver, it's not driving through crazy heavy mud, it does a pretty good job at rinsing off thoroughly. It definitely cleans better than Incredible Suds, their first one. Now, do you need to go out there and run and buy it? My personal opinion, if you still have a bunch of this left, you don't need to go buy it. Just use a little bit of all clean if you need to increase the power, because this in itself is not going to take care of a muddy or super dirty vehicle. It tells you use all clean or whatever all-purpose cleaner that you want of your choice to spruce it up and make it an alkaline soap. Now, if you want to use an alkaline soap, you all know my favorite one is Labo Cosmeticals Primus. And yeah, so that is my heavy cleaner if I need to do it at all. Now, for the review as well, just final thoughts, not really a review, but final thoughts on the Baby Goats V2 version. Now, this is their version 2. from the House of Rags, and I did blow off about 30% of the water. I really was blowing off the cracks and crevices, and I blew off about 30% of water. It's just common sense, people. Just the less water that you have, obviously, of course, the better your drying towel is going to work. But in terms of having 70% of water left, using the baby goats, this was my squeegee. Look how drenched this is. And this is the second one, which is starting to get drenched. So pretty much if I left the whole car wet, I definitely would have been able to, but the less water you have and the quick detailer is not gonna alter anything. You want more slickness on the paint than you want water, because again, water causes drag and it is a solvent by nature. And that is pretty much it. So hopefully you all enjoyed this video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You saw the walk around, how the vehicle looks right afterwards. And my favorite detailer at the moment, this Tim's High Gloss Detailer. This is what I've been using for a while, and I do have a gallon of it as well. And yeah, best way to keep a true real world test going on. So I will see you all on the next one. Peace.